These are Shattered and Insectable Nightmare 6. That's right, they're bringing back a fan favorite final challenge for Battle for Dream Island again, and a fan favorite episode title. At the beginning of BFDIA 23, the loser is chasing Woody because he stole the farm-themed Dream Island and he doesn't want to give it up that easily. Using Pin's mechanical suit and some sand on the beach, Woody created a glass road. And yes, that is a thing. Sand plus heat equals glass. So as Tennisball celebrates his victory from the last episode, Nito wants to get revenge on him for trying to sabotage her. But Nico broke up the fight for now so they can recover Book, but they all decide to not recover Levy because she did try to make everyone her friends for the challenge and make it last forever. So they decide to pick a different host. And who is it gonna be this time? Everybody in the entire planet! Okay, to be fair, I wasn't expecting something like that to happen, and I actually thought Levy was gonna be the real final host of Battle for Dream Island again. Well, turns out I was actually wrong. Book, Coiny, and Needle are the only ones up for elimination. Only 2 of them will advance to the final 3 with Tennisball, while the other is eliminated. And that loser is... Coiny. Looks like he's not going to win Dream Island for Pin, and just like that, Wool Bunch is officially exterminated. Now, to be fair, it was another close battle between him and Needle, but the reason why Coiny got eliminated is because he was the only nominee to not perform an act of sacrifice. Book sacrificed herself to save Needle from Tennisball's drill, before they realized that the drill was meant for Leafy. And before that incident happened, Needle decided to not step on Woody one last time because if she does that, Woody would just end up falling to his doom at the center of the earth, and that was a noble sacrifice. But Coiny, on the other hand, he decided to step on Woody anyway, even if he could have died from falling, and he lost some points because of that. And keep in mind, they just recovered Woody, they can't just axe him off already like that. I do appreciate Coiny's joy of the game, and he did play a good game in Season 2, but it looks like this is as far as he can go. As for the prize winner, that lucky winner is Book, and she gets anything she asked for. So what's it gonna be? Immunity to the final 2? Dream Island itself? Nope! She wants the alphabet! Yeah, that wasn't really a smart move, but there is a plus. She got the alphabet from the recovery center, which means she can recover anyone she wants whenever she wants. And after Cake and Steak is over, Tennisball, Book, and Needle are ready for their final challenge. And all they have to do is set foot on Dream Island. No, it's not the real Dream Island. They had to set foot on the farm-themed Dream Island. So here's how it's going to work. They must cross the glass road, which pretty much takes up almost the entire world, and they must reach Woody at the end of the road. But there is a trick to make the journey quicker because this final challenge is also a recap challenge. The final 3 will reunite with the losers one by one, and it must help them complete their challenges that got them eliminated. The first finalist to complete their challenge will receive an advantage. But if the challenge becomes too hard for them to finish, they can skip them whenever they like. The first person to get past Woody and set their foot on Dream Island wins immunity, guaranteeing a 50-50 shot on winning Dream Island. The losers must face Cake and Steak one last time where someone will be the last person voted out of this game. So when it comes to the recap final challenges, I thought the one for Season 1 was pretty good. There was some memorable moments from it, but they did end up speeding up the process. With the Season 4 recap final challenges, this one was actually really good because they did actually take the challenges one by one and not rushing them a bit. As for Season 2 final recap challenge, this one ended up being my favorite final challenge of Battle for Dream Island. I don't know how they made it work, but they made it work. I do like that the final 3 are given the choice to either do the challenges to win an advantage or just skip them to go forward. And with each challenge they pass through, they actually visit some extraordinary places they never visited before in Season 2. It's like if the final challenge was set in a Mario game and they had to explore all of the worlds to make it to the final boss. They even found a way to make the non-challenge episodes into challenges, like they are given a choice to either explore the unexplored or go down to the center of the earth. And remember that episode where the viewers voted for Leafy as the new host for Battle for Dream Island again, and Pin tried to find a yellow tomato to make Leafy go away? Well, in this one, there's a challenge where they had to grow a yellow tomato for Pin. And some of the finalists did come up with some interesting strategies on winning the final challenge, like Neil decided to skip all the challenges so she can get ahead of Tennisball and Book, while Tennisball and Book decide to work together until they caught up to Needle. But that's not all. Needle, Tennisball, and Book are given some character arcs and self-reflection on how far they made to the game. There's one with Needle deciding to play and win this game for herself, but Pencil said that she should win for her friends and she doesn't have to play or win alone. There's another one with Book where, although she's way too nice for this game, she'd rather win or lose in a noble way. And we get this conversation between Golf Ball and Tennis Ball where Golf Ball does not want to root for Tennis Ball because he has gotten too villainous in the last few episodes. Didn't you cheat at the Bug Ball Challenge and got too bossy at the Dream Island Villain Challenge? Cheating and bossing everyone around kinda counts as being villainous. I mean, Golf Ball's not wrong there with Tennis Ball, but she still has her fair share of some bad deeds on some other Battle for Dream Island again episodes. But even if Tennis Ball win or lose again, we already know that he and Golf Ball are going to be friends again. But there are still some memorable funny jokes in this episode. I love that when Needle talks to Ice Cube, they actually use some of the archive audio from last season because they did have some little dialogue last time. There's another one with Rocky where he actually talks to Needle even though he forgot how to talk years ago, just so he can vomit on Needle. And if you have seen the episode and might be wondering, where did that house come from at the center of the earth? Well, remember the Escape the Volcano episode and the Final Five received house prizes and Spongy actually crushed one of the houses? Well, this is actually his house! No wonder he screamed with joy, he actually found his house he lost years ago! For a final recap challenge, talk about a trip down memory lane! The visuals are great, the mini challenges are well executed, and it was definitely an epic showdown. And it was pretty cool to do the CGI summit bit again back at episode 5. The recap challenge was still a challenge to pull through, yet they somehow managed to put all the pieces back together. In TPOT 21, 2 finally got out of bed when they overheard that one has taken 4 away and that she made a deal with Pencil. 2 tried to call out to Pencil, but no one would hear them. They tried to escape their bedroom, but the door was locked, they had no such luck with the window, and that they lost all their powers to 1. Although 2 has been trapped inside their bedroom for months, they decided to do cake and steak anyway without anybody attending since the last challenge was a death battle challenge. In the end, Grassy and Pencil made it to the top 2, securing immunity for both Cloudier and Team 2. While Death Pack yet again had failed to prevent their own deaths in the Death Battle Challenge alongside Wah 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 Wah. And as a quick side note, Death Pack yet again has lost all their newbies, which means whoever's going to be eliminated is going to be a Death Pack again representative. And the players that are coming in 15th and 14th place in TPOT are Waddle, the original Death Pack member, and Tree the Purple. If I can be honest, I was really sad that Ball was eliminated in this episode because she was doing so well in the game so far, and I really liked her hosting duty in the Ball for Dream Island episode. I know this was a difficult decision to decide which member of the music team should stay in the game, but I do have a theory why Ball was eliminated. Not only did she not last longer in the Death Battle Challenge, but she was the only person who died without actually being killed by anyone. She just tripped and just broke herself into pieces. While she did an amazing job hosting the Carnival challenges, her gameplay performance in TPOT 19 was not the same as her old hosting performance. I'm really gonna miss Bottle and TPOT, and I have nothing else to say but, and Bottle is out. As for Tree's elimination, this one I can actually deal with, and his elimination wasn't really a big surprise actually, because ever since the team swap, he's been in the bottom 2 3 times already, all of which were new members of Death Pack. Now that they've run out of newbies, the viewers have no choice but to decide which member of Death Pack again should stay or go. I knew Black Hole got the most votes again because 1 cheated in the last challenge. We still need Fanny to provide the details about 1. And while Marker broke his promise on protecting Tree's advantage token and giving it away to Lai, he was actually begging for mercy and he wants to be friends with Lai again. But now that Tree is dead and eliminated, I guess that merge advantage token is now a freebie for everyone. So as the remaining survivors try to adapt to the current situation they're in based on what's going on outside, to put themselves back together and try to call for help, Grassy got his spirit back by promising to Snowball that he must stay strong for his best friend. And I must admit, I was really impressed at how much Grassy managed to survive inside the hotel all these months. Although his only friend is the 4-horse, the outside world is scary now, and all the flora and fauna have transformed into mutant monsters because of the black goo, he somehow managed to make his own food and managed to put Lai back together thanks to the black goo. So it appears that this particular goo is also a substance to recover anyone. I actually question myself if this is how the recovery center works. Meanwhile, Winner, Loser, and Fiery Jr. have been hiding from the mutant monsters. Fiery and April discovered David and Dora in Bandland, and they had to help them to push all the giant musical instruments to create a soft landing, while Six, Needle, Purpleface, Belle, and Bomby have been trying to open the door for months to get out of Four's head. But since nothing was updated, 6 decided to try to find 3 in hopes she could help them. Now that I got those side plots out of the way, it's time to talk about the challenge. And for the next challenge, they must simply unlock 2's bedroom. Whoever opens the door wins immunity for their team. But since most of the contestants are dead at the moment and the recovery center hasn't fully recovered yet, it's time to do a team swap. From this point on, they'll be split into 2 teams, Team Alive and Team Dead. If they bring someone back to life, they'll belong to the Alive team. If they remain dead throughout the challenge, they'll belong to the Dead team. Yeah, I know, it's still kinda confusing, but 2 just want to make this challenge as simple as possible and be done with it already. Although 2 specifically told the remaining survivors to simply work together and not prove a point or betray someone, they decided to betray someone and try to prove a point for some reason. Lottie wants to prove that she wants to win this game all by herself because her time with Deadpack didn't help and she thinks she got too dependent on Pin. And she decided to betray Winter and Grassy despite being on the same team, and she went to the forest instead of the hotel for some reason. Yeah, that wasn't really a smart move. Even if she was trying to use one of the mutant bugs to open the door, it still wasn't a good idea. What's the point of betraying your own team members when you can simply work together to win immunity easily? Now for the remaining players, they were actually sharp because most of them actually stay at the hotel where it's safe. Grassy, for instance, tried to create a giant boulder made out of junk so they can break through the bedroom. And when Taggy got recovered from the goo, they actually told Winter that they got recovered from a wireless controller connected to the recovery center. Although they can't use the recovery center manually, they can still use it wirelessly, and they managed to do so by bringing back Book, Tennis Ball, Golf Ball, and Marker. And now that Golf Ball and Tennis Ball are on the same team again, they use their intellect to create a giant magnet inside Basketball's above-ground factory to retrieve the key to the bedroom. The only issues I would have in the episode is that the pacing of the challenge was way too long since the goal is to simply open the bedroom door. That, and I find Fiery Jr. very annoying in this episode. He was being pretty selfish on eating Winter and Loser's cookies, and he was insulting almost everyone throughout the episode. In fact, why is he taking part of the challenge? He's not even a TPOT player. I give Loser a pass in this episode because all he wanted was to reunite with his best friend Winter, but Fiery Jr. hated everybody. But there are 2 moments in the episode that I did enjoy and remember the most in the challenge. The relationship between you 2 and Taggy, and Free Smart. With the Free Smart side plot, Magical just ran outside to the dark wasteland in hopes of finding Pencil alongside Bubble and Ruby, and she explained to her friends that the Pencil that they saw on the TV was not the same Pencil that she knew. That's the Pencil who was all alone and scared, like how Match was before she got reunited with Bubble and Ruby. Although Pencil has been mean and bossy lately, Bubble and Ruby decide to rescue her for Match, and X coming along with them because if they find Pencil, they'll find 4. But my favorite moment in the episode is when Taggy talks to 2, and they explain why they have been trapped inside the bedroom for months. When they sat down and talked, it's equivalent on how 2 hangs out with Gady, and we finally got some answers on why 2 wants to give away their powers and why they come to Earth. Ever since the Outer Brilliants went their separate ways because of the One situation, and they gave 2 the responsibility on carrying the limitless power, they've been trying so hard to find a home that's right for them. But no matter which planet they go to, they couldn't find a way to fit in. They tried to reunite with their old friends before pretending to forget about 2 for protecting X. Yeah, pretending to forget about 2, that works so well with Fiery involving Leafy. Yeah, the more I think about it, having the number of characters go their separate ways and forget about 1 and 3 did a lot more harm than it did good and safety. That's why 2 took away more than half of 4's contestants for TPOT and give away their limitless power. It was still wrong of them, but it was still wrong of 4 on pretending to forget about 2. All that 2 wanted was to find a place to call home and to have a friend, and they managed to do so by hanging out with Gady. But now she's gone because of 1. The reason why that scene from the episode is so emotional is because Taggy understands what 2 is going through. Sure, they can't do anything right now to bring back Gady since 1 erased her, but Taggy still listened to 2. It's a lot like that scene from Inside Out where Sadness listens to Bing Bong that he lost his magical wagon rocket to the abyss now that Riley is all grown up. She talks about all the good times that he and Riley had, and she simply let all his emotions out, and that made him feel better and helped him continue the quest to go back to headquarters. Taggy may not have all the answers on how to bring Gady back to 2, but they will find a way thanks to this information. So while I do consider BFDIA 23 is better than TPOT 21, I thought this TPOT episode was pretty good. So, Who will be the last person voted out on Battle for Dream Island again? Will we finally make it to the TPOT merge? And can 3 really help 6 and the others get out of the exit? Hopefully all of our questions will be answered on the next few episodes. See you all in BFDIA 24 and TPOT 22.